Chapter 1. A Dying World. In the early decades of the 21st century, Earth's relentless pursuit of progress had finally reached a tipping point. The planet, once vibrant and teeming with life, began to show undeniable signs of distress. Climate change, overpopulation, and dwindling resources had taken their toll. But humanity pressed on, oblivious to the dire warnings of scientists and environmentalists. Then, the discovery that changed everything came not from the green, fading landscapes of Earth, but from the very heart of the planet. Dr. Amina Patel, a leading geophysicist, was the first to notice the anomalies. Deep beneath the Earth's crust, the core was destabilizing at an alarming rate, a phenomenon that threatened to unleash cataclysmic earthquakes and volcanic eruptions on a scale humanity had never seen. The data was irrefutable, the conclusion inescapable. Earth was dying, and the end, once thought to be millennia away, was now looming over the current generation. The revelation sent shockwaves through the global community. Denial, panic, and chaos ensued as governments and citizens alike grappled with the magnitude of the crisis. But as the dust settled, a spark of determination ignited within the hearts of humanity. If Earth could no longer be their home, they would seek survival elsewhere. The eyes of the world turned towards Mars, the red neighbor that had long fascinated and beckoned to humankind. The Mars Terraforming Initiative, MTI, was born out of necessity and desperation. It was an unprecedented global collaboration, pooling together the brightest minds, vast resources, and cutting-edge technology. The goal was audacious: to transform Mars from a cold, barren wasteland into a habitable refuge, a red haven for humanity. The early stages of the MTI focused on creating a stable atmosphere and manageable climate on Mars. Giant orbiting mirrors were constructed to reflect sunlight onto the planet's surface, warming the frozen carbon dioxide and thickening the atmosphere. Hardy microorganisms, genetically engineered for extreme conditions, were introduced to produce oxygen and begin the long process of soil generation. As the atmosphere of Mars thickened and warmed, the first automated drones and robots were sent to lay the groundwork for human arrival. They built the initial habitats, water reclamation systems, and energy farms, all designed to be self-sustaining and expandable. These mechanical pioneers were followed by the first human settlers, scientists, and engineers dedicated to solving the myriad challenges of Martian living. Over the years, the colonies grew. Dome-covered farms produced food, ice from the polar caps was mined for water, and nuclear fusion provided power. Mars began to feel less like a foreign planet and more like a new frontier, a testament to human ingenuity and willpower. Yet, even as humanity celebrated its achievements on Mars, the situation on Earth continued to deteriorate. The core's destabilization progressed faster than predicted, and the planet's expiration date was drawing near. The time for the mass exodus had arrived, decades earlier than expected, and not everyone was prepared. Amidst this backdrop of impending doom and hope on the horizon, a diverse group of characters found themselves united by a common goal: survival. Among them, Dr. Patel, whose discovery had set everything in motion, was determined to see the human race thrive on its new world, despite the uncertainty and challenges that lay ahead. As the final months on Earth began to tick away, the preparations for the Great Exodus intensified. The space stations orbiting Earth, once symbols of exploration and discovery, were now lifeboats, holding the last remnants of humanity as they awaited their turn to embark on the journey to their new home. The stage was set for a story of resilience, sacrifice, and the indomitable spirit of humanity as they faced the greatest challenge in their history, leaving behind the cradle of civilization for a future among the stars. Chapter 2. The Solar Flare. As Earth's days dwindled, humanity's gaze was fixed on Mars, but the universe, vast and indifferent, had its own agenda. The sun, the giver of life, became an unwitting agent of chaos. Dr. Elias Wren, an astrophysicist monitoring solar activities, observed an anomaly on the sun's surface, a dark spot growing at an unprecedented pace. It was a sunspot, but unlike any recorded in human history. The data pointed to an inevitable conclusion. A solar flare was coming, one of colossal magnitude. The news of the impending solar flare hit the global community like a tidal wave. Panic resurfaced, for the flare's timing couldn't be worse. Earth was vulnerable, its magnetic field weakened by the core's destabilization. The flare had the potential to cripple the already frail planet, and the evacuation efforts hung in the balance. As the flare approached, the world held its breath. Then, with a fury that dwarfed all human endeavors, the solar flare unleashed its energy upon the solar system. The Earth, caught in the path of this cosmic firestorm, experienced widespread devastation. Power grids failed, satellites tumbled from the sky, and the surface was bombarded with radiation. The space stations orbiting Earth were not spared. The flare damaged vital systems and communications, severing the fragile lifeline between Earth and Mars. The carefully orchestrated plan for the mass exodus was thrown into disarray. Resources on the stations became scarce overnight, and the once orderly queues for transport to Mars descended into chaos. In the aftermath, the situation was dire. With the space fleet crippled, the timeline for evacuation was cut in half. Humanity was running out of time, and Mars, once a beacon of hope, seemed further away than ever. Amidst the turmoil, a plan was hatched. A group of unlikely allies found themselves at the heart of this new strategy. Dr. Patel, haunted by the thought of her discovery leading to such despair, joined forces with Dr. Wren, the astrophysicist who had predicted the flare. Alongside them were Captain Maria Vasquez, a skilled astronaut with unmatched experience in crisis navigation, and Leo Jiang, a young engineering prodigy whose innovative designs had revolutionized space travel. This team, driven by desperation and the unyielding human spirit, embarked on a daring mission. Their goal was to restore communication with Mars, using a network of satellites that had been in development for deep space communication. These satellites, designed to withstand intense solar activity, had been considered a low-priority project and were not yet operational. But now, they were humanity's best hope. The task was monumental. The team had to launch the satellites into precise orbits, a feat made all the more challenging by the damaged infrastructure and limited resources. Each step of the process was fraught with setbacks, from sourcing the necessary materials to recalibrating the launch mechanisms to function without satellite guidance. Through sheer determination and ingenuity, the team overcame each obstacle. The launch, a spectacle of human resilience, was a success. The satellites reached their destinations, creating a makeshift network that restored the vital link between Earth and Mars. Communication with Mars brought a glimmer of hope. The colonies on the Red Planet had watched in horror as Earth was battered by the solar flare, feeling helpless and isolated. Now, with the lines of communication open, a coordinated effort to expedite the evacuation could begin. Chapter 3. The Phoenix Rises. In the wake of the solar flare's chaos, the world found itself at a standstill, teetering on the brink of despair. Earth's final days seemed more imminent than ever, and the window for the mass exodus to Mars was rapidly closing. Amidst the darkness, a beacon of hope emerged from an unlikely source, a forgotten piece of technology, a spacecraft dubbed the Phoenix. The Phoenix was the brainchild of Liu Jiang, conceived in the era before the crisis as a testament to what the future of space travel could be. Designed for speed, efficiency, and resilience, it was a spacecraft beyond its time, capable of making the journey to Mars in half the time of conventional ships. However, due to budget constraints and shifting priorities, the Phoenix had been relegated to a hangar, gathering dust as a relic of what could have been. With the communication lines to Mars restored and the urgency of the situation reaching its peak, Dr. Patel proposed a daring plan to retrofit the Phoenix for a critical mission. This mission would not only transport a select group of survivors to Mars, but also carry essential supplies and the genetic archives of Earth's biodiversity, preserving the remnants of its once rich ecosystems. The team, now joined by Tara, a botanist with a passion for preserving Earth's flora and fauna, and her emotional support robot, Missouri. The Dianite set to work. The challenge was immense. The Phoenix required significant modifications to support the additional cargo and passengers. Resources were scarce, and time was running out. Liu Jiang, with his unparalleled genius in engineering, led the retrofitting process. Every system of the Phoenix was overhauled, from its engines, fueled by a revolutionary fusion drive, to its life support systems, capable of recycling air and water indefinitely. The spacecraft's hull was reinforced with a new composite material, designed to withstand the harsh conditions of space and the perilous descent onto Mars. Captain Vasquez took on the task of assembling the crew and planning the navigation. The journey to Mars was fraught with dangers, from asteroid fields to solar radiation. Every variable had to be accounted for, every contingency planned. The captain's experience and calm demeanor provided the steadiness the crew needed in the face of uncertainty. Dr. Patel and Tara focused on the cargo. The genetic archives contained seeds, DNA samples, and embryos from Earth's most vital species. These were not just passengers, they were the key to rebuilding Earth's ecosystems on Mars. Tara's expertise ensured that the archives were stored in stasis pods, designed to maintain their viability until they could be revived on Mars. As the retrofitting of the Phoenix neared completion, the world watched with bated breath. This mission had become a symbol of humanity's refusal to go gentle into the night. It was a testament to their resilience, their ingenuity, and their unwavering hope for the future. The launch day arrived, a day that would be remembered in history as the moment when humanity took its fate into its own hands. The Phoenix stood on the launch pad, a gleaming silver beacon against the dark sky. The crew, clad in their suits, shared a moment of silence, a tribute to the planet they were leaving behind and the future they were hurtling towards. With the roar of engines, the Phoenix lifted off, ascending through the atmosphere with a trail of fire in its wake. The ground trembled, and the hearts of those watching trembled with it. The spacecraft pierced the sky, heading towards the stars, a phoenix rising from the ashes of a dying world. As the Phoenix disappeared from view, the people of Earth, scattered across the remaining habitable zones and the space stations above, felt a collective stir of hope. The mission was a gamble, but it was also a promise that even in the face of the greatest adversity, humanity would not yield, that they would carry the torch of life to new worlds, and that the legacy of Earth would endure among the stars. The journey to Mars would be long and fraught with peril, but the Phoenix and its crew were ready. They carried with them not just the hopes of the people they left behind, but the dreams of a future where humanity, once confined to a single planet, would spread across the cosmos, thriving and exploring, forever reaching for the stars. Chapter 4: Into the Void. As the Phoenix hurtled through the vast emptiness of space, the crew aboard the spacecraft found themselves in a state of constant vigilance. The journey to Mars was not just a mere traverse across the solar system. It was a venture into the unknown, a testament to human determination and the will to survive. Captain Maria Vasquez, seated at the helm, monitored the ship's trajectory with an unwavering focus. The path to Mars was fraught with hazards, from unpredictable asteroid fields to the ever-present danger of solar radiation. Each obstacle required precise navigation, and Captain Vasquez proved more than equal to the task, her hands steady as she steered the Phoenix through the cosmos. Liu Jiang, the engineering prodigy, was a constant presence in the engine room, his eyes always scanning the readouts from the fusion drive that powered their vessel. The drive was his creation, a marvel of technology that promised to revolutionize space travel. Yet, as the Phoenix pushed further into space, Leo knew that the true test of his invention was not its performance in simulations, but its ability to sustain them on this perilous journey. Dr. Amina Patel and Tara, the botanist, found themselves drawn to the cargo hold, where the genetic archives of Earth's biodiversity were stored. These archives, containing seeds, DNA samples, and embryos, represented the hope of not just preserving, but eventually restoring the ecosystems that had been lost. Tara, with Moxie always by her side, meticulously checked the stasis pods, ensuring that the precious cargo remained viable. The void of space was a realm of silence and darkness, punctuated only by the glow of distant stars. Inside the Phoenix, however, there was light and life. The crew, though small, had become a microcosm of humanity itself, each member playing a crucial role in the survival of the whole. Yet, as they journeyed on, a new challenge emerged from within. Tensions began to surface, fueled by the stress of the mission and the weight of what they had left behind. The isolation of space, the constant hum of the ship's engines, and the knowledge of the desolate, dying world they had escaped all began to take their toll on the crew's mental health. Captain Vasquez, ever the leader, recognized the signs of strain among her crew. She initiated daily meetings, not just to discuss the mission and the status of the Phoenix, but to provide a space for the crew to share their fears, hopes, and dreams. These meetings became a ritual, a moment of connection and unity amidst the vastness of space. It was during one of these gatherings that the crew encountered their first major crisis. An unexpected micrometeoroid storm struck the Phoenix, a flurry of tiny, high-velocity particles pelting the ship's hull. The impact was minor, but it revealed a vulnerability in the ship's external sensors, which had failed to detect the incoming threat. Leo sprang into action, devising a makeshift solution to reinforce the sensors and prevent a similar oversight. The crew rallied around him, each member contributing to the repair efforts. It was a moment of collective triumph, a reminder that together they were capable of overcoming even the most unforeseen challenges. As they resumed their journey, the crew of the Phoenix grew closer, bound by their shared experiences and the common goal that lay ahead. They were not just survivors of a dying world. They were pioneers, the vanguard of a new era for humanity. Chapter 5: Shadows and Whispers. As the Phoenix continued its voyage through the cosmos, the crew began to adjust to the rhythm of space travel, finding solace in the routines that structured their days. The vast emptiness of space, once a source of unease, became a canvas upon which their hopes were projected. Yet, as they drew closer to Mars, an unexpected challenge emerged, not from the void outside, but from within the confines of their own vessel. It started subtly, a series of malfunctions that were initially dismissed as minor technical glitches inherent to any long-duration space mission. Lights flickered without cause, screens displayed garbled data, and the communication system sent static-filled messages to Mars, hindering their ability to send clear updates back to the awaiting colonies. Dr. Amina Patel, ever observant, was the first to sense a pattern in these anomalies. They were not random, as one might expect from system failures, but appeared almost intentional, disrupting their most critical operations. She shared her concerns with Captain Vasquez, who listened intently, her mind racing through the implications of sabotage aboard the Phoenix. The crew convened in the common area, a space that had become their sanctuary of shared experiences. Captain Vasquez addressed the group, her voice steady but laced with an undercurrent of urgency. "We have reason to believe that these malfunctions are not accidental. We must consider the possibility of sabotage." The words hung heavy in the air, a cloud of suspicion that threatened to undo the bonds of trust they had forged. Liu Jiang, his usual optimism dampened by the gravity of the situation, proposed a plan to monitor the ship's systems more closely, using a combination of manual checks and software diagnostics. Tara, ever the peacemaker, suggested they focus on the unity of their mission, reminding everyone of the shared goal that had brought them together. As they implemented Leo's surveillance measures, an uneasy calm settled over the Phoenix. The crew went about their tasks with a heightened sense of vigilance, each member aware that the saboteur was likely among them, hiding in plain sight. It was during a routine check of the life support systems that the breakthrough came. Leo, analyzing the data with meticulous care, discovered an anomaly in the oxygen recycling unit. A series of unauthorized commands had been entered into the system, commands designed to gradually decrease the oxygen levels over time. It was a chilling discovery, one that transformed abstract fears into a tangible threat. The evidence pointed to an inside job, a realization that struck the crew with the force of a physical blow. Suspicion and paranoia crept into their interactions, casting shadows over their camaraderie. Captain Vasquez, recognizing the danger of a divided crew, called for a meeting, not to accuse, but to reaffirm their commitment to each other and their mission. "We are facing an enemy, not among us, but within us," she began, her gaze sweeping over the crew. "Fear and suspicion can destroy us faster than any saboteur. We must stand together, united by our purpose and our trust in each other." The speech, heartfelt and inspiring, marked a turning point for the crew. They agreed to increase transparency in their actions and communications, working in pairs for critical tasks and sharing their findings openly. The atmosphere aboard the Phoenix began to shift from one of suspicion to a renewed focus on solidarity and mutual support. In the days that followed, the crew's efforts to secure the ship's systems paid off. The malfunctions ceased, and the atmosphere of trust began to rebuild. Yet, the identity of the saboteur remained a mystery, a puzzle piece missing from the larger picture of their mission. As Mars loomed ever closer, the crew of the Phoenix faced the final leg of their journey with a mix of determination and apprehension. The challenges they had overcome had forged them into a stronger, more cohesive unit, but the shadow of the saboteur lingered, a reminder of the fragility of trust in the face of adversity. Chapter 6: The Red Horizon. The Phoenix journey through the dark expanse of space was nearing its end, with Mars's crimson hue growing ever more prominent against the backdrop of the stars. The crew, having weathered the storm of suspicion and sabotage, found themselves reflecting on the enormity of their mission. They were not merely travelers to a new world. They were the harbingers of a new dawn for humanity. As Mars approached, the technical preparations for landing intensified. Captain Vasquez, alongside Liu Jiang, meticulously planned their descent trajectory, aware that the margin for error was slim. The atmosphere of Mars, though thinner than Earth's, posed a significant challenge for landing, a challenge that the Phoenix was designed to overcome, but not without risks. Dr. Amina Patel and Tara, with her ever-loyal robot companion Moxie, prepared the genetic archives and other critical cargo for the landing. The preservation of Earth's biodiversity in these archives was crucial for the terraforming efforts on Mars, representing a hope not just for survival, but for the flourishing of life on the Red Planet. The final approach to Mars was a moment of collective breath-holding. The Phoenix engaged its descent engines, the surface of Mars rushing up to meet them. The ship shuddered as it entered the Martian atmosphere, the heat shields glowing with the friction of entry. Inside, the crew braced themselves, their eyes fixed on the monitors displaying the rapidly approaching surface. With a combination of skill, technology, and a touch of fortune, the Phoenix landed on Mars. The moment the ship touched down, a cheer erupted among the crew, a spontaneous outpouring of relief and joy. They had arrived. They had made it to Mars. The first steps on Martian soil were reserved for Captain Vasquez, a symbolic gesture recognizing her leadership throughout their journey. As she descended the ramp of the Phoenix, the weight of the moment was palpable. The red dust that swirled around her boots was more than just a marker of their arrival. It was the foundation of humanity's future. The initial days on Mars were a flurry of activity. The crew, now joined by teams from the existing Martian colonies, worked tirelessly to unload the Phoenix. The genetic archives were carefully transported to the terraforming labs, where scientists, including Tara and Dr. Patel, began the process of analyzing and preparing the seeds and DNA samples for propagation. The Phoenix, once a vessel of survival, was repurposed to serve as an additional habitat and research center. Liu Jiang, drawing on his engineering genius, began modifications on the ship, enhancing its systems to support the burgeoning colony's needs. Yet, as the crew adapted to their new surroundings, the mystery of the sabotage aboard the Phoenix remained unresolved. The issue lingered in the back of their minds, a shadow cast over their achievements. Captain Vasquez, determined to maintain the unity and trust they had fought so hard to build, initiated an investigation into the matter. It was a delicate process, one that required balancing the need for answers with the imperative of focusing on the colony's development. The investigation revealed unexpected truths, not just about the identity of the saboteur, but about the resilience of the human spirit. It was discovered that the sabotage was the result of misguided attempts by one of the crew members to delay their arrival on Mars, driven by fear of the unknown and the weight of leaving Earth behind. The revelation was met with a mix of emotions, anger, betrayal, but also understanding and compassion. The crew realized that their journey had been as much about overcoming internal fears and doubts as it had been about traversing the void of space. In the wake of this discovery, the crew of the Phoenix came together once more, reaffirming their commitment to each other and to their mission. They understood that the path to building a new home on Mars would be filled with challenges, both external and internal, but they also knew that they possessed the strength, the unity, and the determination to overcome them. Chapter 7. The Greening of Mars. With the Phoenix's crew now integral members of the Martian colonies, focus shifted toward the monumental task of terraforming the Red Planet. The endeavor was not just about survival, it was about creating a world where future generations could thrive. Dr. Amina Patel, Tara, and the scientific community on Mars were at the forefront of this mission, leveraging the genetic archives brought from Earth to kickstart the greening of Mars. The first step in this ambitious plan was the establishment of biodomes, large, transparent structures designed to simulate Earth-like conditions within. These domes were to be the cradles of Earth's biodiversity on Mars, where the seeds and embryos from the archives could be nurtured to life. Tara, with her expertise in botany, led the planting efforts, carefully selecting species that could adapt to Martian soil and contribute to the atmosphere's gradual oxygenation. Meanwhile, Liu Jiang focused on enhancing the colony's infrastructure, developing water reclamation systems and renewable energy sources that utilized Mars's unique resources. Solar panels were erected across the barren landscape, capturing the weak but constant sunlight. Ice from the polar caps was mined and processed, providing not just water for the colonies and biodomes, but also a critical component for the production of rocket fuel, ensuring the sustainability of future missions and exploration efforts. As the biodomes flourished, the first signs of green began to appear on Mars. Small patches of grass, bushes, and even trees took root, transforming the interiors of the domes into verdant oases amidst the red desert. The success of these biodomes represented a beacon of hope, a tangible proof that life could be sustained and propagated on Mars. The greening of Mars, however, was not without its challenges. The Martian environment was harsh, with soil lacking in essential nutrients and an atmosphere still too thin and cold to support life outside the biodomes. Scientists, including Dr. Patel, worked tirelessly to engineer hardy plant species that could survive in these conditions, experimenting with genetic modifications and soil treatments to increase their chances of success. The breakthrough came with the development of a superalga, a genetically modified organism capable of surviving in the low-pressure, carbon dioxide-rich Martian atmosphere. This alga, when spread over large areas of the Martian surface, began to photosynthesize, slowly but steadily increasing the oxygen levels outside the biodomes. The success of the superalga marked a turning point in the terraforming efforts. It was the first step toward a self-sustaining biosphere, a critical milestone on the path to transforming Mars into a world where humans could one day walk outside without the aid of spacesuits. Amidst the scientific achievements and the daily grind of colony life, the crew of the Phoenix found moments of profound connection with their new home. They watched as the first Martian sunset painted the sky in hues of blue and purple, a phenomenon caused by the scattering of sunlight in the increasingly dense atmosphere. These moments of beauty were reminders of the potential of Mars, not just as a refuge, but as a canvas for the dreams and aspirations of humanity. Chapter 8. Bonds Beyond Worlds. As the Martian colonies flourished and the terraforming efforts progressed, the people of Mars began to experience a shift in their perception of home. The red planet, once a symbol of desolation and isolation, had become a bustling hub of activity and life. Amidst this transformation, the crew of the Phoenix found themselves at the heart of a growing community, their journey from Earth now a part of the collective memory of humanity's resilience and ambition. The colonies had expanded beyond the initial settlements, with new habitats and biodomes sprouting up across the landscape. Each dome was a microcosm of Earth's environments, ranging from lush rainforests to arid deserts, each meticulously designed to support a diverse array of life forms. The success of these ecosystems was a tribute to the dedication of scientists like Dr. Amina Patel and Tara, who had tirelessly worked to ensure the viability of these new worlds within a world. As the Martian atmosphere gradually thickened, thanks in part to the photosynthetic efforts of the superalga and other engineered plants, the colonists began to experiment with outdoor activities. Wearing only light protective gear, they ventured outside the domes for the first time, planting the seeds of hardy grasses and shrubs in the Martian soil. These moments, filled with the simple joy of planting and the profound realization of their role in shaping a new world, deepened the bonds among the colonists. The Phoenix, now permanently grounded and converted into a research and community center, served as a constant reminder of the journey that had brought them to Mars. Captain Maria Vasquez, once the commander of a vessel navigating the void between stars, had become a leader in the community, guiding the colonists through the challenges of their new life with the same calm and determination she had shown during their voyage. Liu Jiang, whose innovations had been crucial to the survival and success of the Phoenix, continued to push the boundaries of Martian technology. He spearheaded projects to develop advanced robotics and AI systems to assist in terraforming efforts and daily life, ensuring the sustainability of the colonies. His work, once focused on survival, now aimed at enhancing the quality of life on Mars, making the Red Planet not just habitable, but comfortable for its inhabitants. As the years passed, the children of Mars, the first generation born on the Red Planet, began to view the world through a unique lens. They saw Mars not as a backup plan or a secondary home, but as their only home, a place of limitless possibilities and boundless horizons. Their education, a blend of Earth's history and Martian innovation, prepared them to continue the work their parents had begun, to dream of a future where Mars was not just a colony, but a thriving, independent world. The bond between Earth and Mars remained strong, with regular communications and exchanges between the two planets. The stories of Mars's transformation inspired those on Earth, serving as a beacon of hope in the face of the planet's continued environmental struggles. The success of the Martian colonies was a testament to what humanity could achieve when united by a common goal, a reminder of the power of cooperation and vision. Chapter 9. The Challenge of Harmony. As the Martian colonies celebrated the milestones of their journey, a new challenge emerged, one that tested the very fabric of their society. The rapid expansion of the colonies and the increasing complexity of terraforming efforts brought about unforeseen environmental and ethical dilemmas. The balance between advancing the terraforming process and preserving the natural state of Mars became a contentious issue, sparking debates among the colonists. Dr. Amina Patel found herself at the center of this debate. A staunch advocate for responsible terraforming, she argued for the implementation of safeguards to ensure that the ecological systems being created did not inadvertently harm the planet's original state. Her concerns were rooted in the lessons learned from Earth's environmental history, emphasizing the importance of sustainability and respect for the natural world. Meanwhile, a faction within the colonies, driven by the desire for rapid expansion and the promise of technological advancements, pushed for a more aggressive approach to terraforming. They argued that the primary goal was to make Mars fully habitable as quickly as possible to ensure the survival and prosperity of the human race. This group, led by a charismatic entrepreneur named Julian Sorensen, advocated for the use of advanced geoengineering techniques that could accelerate the transformation of Mars's atmosphere and surface. The debate reached a critical point when a terraforming experiment proposed by Sorensen's faction threatened to destabilize one of the biodomes, risking the lives of the plants and animals within, as well as the dome's human inhabitants. The incident served as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of unchecked technological intervention. Captain Maria Vasquez, ever the mediator, called for a community assembly to address the growing rift. The assembly was a forum for open dialogue where all members of the Martian colonies, from scientists to settlers, could voice their opinions and concerns. The debate was passionate, reflecting the diverse perspectives and stakes involved in shaping the future of Mars. Liu Jiang, whose technological contributions had been vital to the colony's development, offered a middle ground. He proposed a collaborative approach that combined technological innovation with ecological mindfulness. His vision was for a Mars where human ingenuity and the natural environment coexisted in harmony, where technology served not just to alter the planet, but to enhance its inherent beauty and value. The assembly led to the establishment of the Martian Ecological Oversight Committee, a body tasked with evaluating all terraforming projects and ensuring they adhered to ethical and environmental standards. Dr. Patel and Julian Sorensen, representing the opposing viewpoints, were both appointed to the committee, symbolizing the colony's commitment to inclusive and balanced decision-making. As the colonies moved forward, the challenge of harmony became a central theme in their development. Projects were undertaken with greater care, and the successes of the terraforming efforts became a source of pride for all colonists. The biodomes flourished, and the outdoor environments began to thrive, showcasing the potential for a symbiotic relationship between humanity and Mars. Chapter 10: A New Dawn for Humanity. As the Martian year came to a close, marked by the second revolution of Phobos in the sky, since the establishment of the Martian Ecological Oversight Committee, the colonies had transformed. The debates and challenges of the past had fostered a culture of innovation, balanced with ecological mindfulness, setting a precedent for the future of humanity on Mars. The Red Planet was no longer a distant outpost of survival, but a burgeoning world, brimming with the promise of new beginnings. The transformation of Mars was mirrored in the lives of the crew of the Phoenix. Dr. Amina Patel, whose advocacy for responsible terraforming had shaped the ecological policies of the colonies, was now leading a research team dedicated to the study of Martian geology. Their work, aimed at understanding the planet's ancient water flows, held the key to unlocking Mars's past and ensuring its future. Captain Maria Vasquez, once the pilot of the Phoenix, had become a symbol of leadership and unity for the colonists. Her role had evolved beyond navigating spacecraft, serving as a guide for the community through the complexities of establishing a new society. Her experience and wisdom were instrumental in navigating the social and ethical challenges that arose as Mars grew more inhabited. Liu Jiang continued to innovate, his latest project a network of satellites designed to monitor the health of Mars's ecosystem from orbit. This system, a testament to the balance the colonies had achieved between technological advancement and ecological preservation, allowed for real-time adjustments to terraforming processes, ensuring that Mars's transformation was both sustainable and respectful of its unique environment. Tara, with her botanic expertise, had overseen the expansion of the biodomes into vast, interconnected ecosystems. These spaces, once small experiments in sustaining life, were now thriving habitats, showcasing the diversity of Earth's flora and fauna on Martian soil. Her work had not only contributed to the terraforming efforts, but had also provided a tangible connection to Earth, reminding the colonists of their origins and the beauty of their home world. The first generation of Martians, children born on the Red Planet, were growing up in a world unlike any known to humanity before. Their experiences were shaped by the dual heritage of Earth and Mars, a blending of histories and cultures that promised a future rich in diversity and innovation. These children, educated in the sciences and the arts, were the first true Martians, embodying the hopes and dreams of all who had worked to make the Red Planet their home. As the Martian colonies prepared to mark the anniversary of the Phoenix's landing, a grand celebration was planned. This event, attended by colonists from across Mars, was not just a commemoration of their achievements, but a declaration of their identity as Martians. The celebration took place in the largest biodome, transformed for the occasion into a lush, green paradise that echoed the beauty of Earth's most splendid gardens. The highlight of the celebration was the unveiling of a monument to the Phoenix, situated at the heart of the dome. Crafted from Martian rock and metal from the spacecraft itself, the monument stood as a lasting tribute to the journey that had brought humanity to Mars and the unity that had sustained them. Around the base of the monument, a plaque bore the names of every colonist, a testament to their shared legacy. As the colonists gathered around the monument, Captain Vasquez addressed the crowd, her voice echoing with emotion. Today, we stand not just as survivors, but as pioneers of a new world. Our journey has been marked by challenges and triumphs, by moments of doubt and bursts of inspiration. But above all, it has been a journey of unity and hope. Mars is our home now, a world shaped by our hands and dreams. Let us continue to build, to explore, and to dream, for we are Martians, and this is our dawn. The ceremony concluded with the release of bioluminescent spores into the night sky, a spectacle of light that mirrored the stars above. As the spores drifted upward, illuminating the dome in a dance of color, the colonists looked on in wonder, their faces lit by the glow of a new dawn.